Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Steuben County Drainage Board meeting, July 21st, 2025. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes for the July 7th, 2025.
July 7th as presented.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, second item, utility location markers. Who should pay for markers?
Sure. So even last week, we said, NIPSCO, everyone needs to mark their utilities. So we make the watershed pay for that. How do we initially pay for that first? Do we put it back to the utility companies? Even if so, we need to have some on hand. How do we pay for that?
They're kind of expensive. If we buy a bunch at once, like, if you buy 20 of them, probably over $1,000.
Usually utility markers that'll have a designated color signifying what utility it is, like pink, orange.
I say most of the, well, I would think all of them are going to be able to provide their own NIPSCO and utility company.
Okay. Well, again, we did this too on 700 South by the Fritz's, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So again,
those, I thought we had said that we could provide, so they're uniform,
okay.
provide them and then basically sell them. So we're not necessarily making a profit.
Okay,
but we're
so again,
recouping our costs.
how do we initially pay for those?
I guess if you don't have a account that they can come out of at all.
As well, I think if it's like an office account, they don't have any way that they can be reimbursed to sink money back into it. The only other thing we have is like our grass seed account, because we'll buy grass seed, and then as it's used in each unit, those units reimburse them back. But we want to make sure that they're reimbursing that. It
Correct.
really shouldn't be coming out of a drain.
A drain and go back. No. They can come out of and get reimbursed.
Their perpetuation fund.
It's,
Okay.
but that's for section corn, but it may be able to.
There's not enough fundage in field supplies.
Plus, it'd be hard to reimburse that. I don't think they have an application or mechanism to do that.
I guess we'll have to get with the auditor and see if there's any,
And then if so, I mean, I need to does somebody need to come to the commissioners meeting because the initial purchase will be over $500, and then, okay, well, maybe that's what I should do, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, we need to find out how we can do that. I mean, there's got to be a fund somewhere that we can take it out of and replenish it. It's not like we're,
Not make another line item.
yeah, that's where, we'd make another line item for it.
So I'll get with the auditor and get on the next agenda with you guys. And then-
Well, and also ask the auditor if she's aware of any mechanism that we could do that with.
Okay.
We do have an ordinance that we just passed there too. We're going to have a drainage board operating funds, non-reverting account. We haven't really got that quite set up yet.
Yeah.
We're working on that,
There's no
so
balance in it
there is no money in there yet.
yet. Right. But, okay.
It's just, it'd be really nice to have. We just had an incident. So Rick knew about it too. We were down at
700 South.
No, at Pranger over 4th of July weekend, hitting the electric line and put all of, was it Hudson Industries? Cold heading out, and I think they do about $1 million of bolts a day. So luckily it was over the weekend, but if it wouldn't have been, it would have been pretty bad. So,
I think it's something we want to get
Why they should be marked.
yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So I think it's just figuring out how to get that
Well, we're working
initial
on that. And that was a
startup.
pretty expensive fix on the contractors. So, okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. It's good. We're doing recess for our initial meeting, sorry. And we will start the process for the procedure of Steuben County Maintenance Drain Board meeting for the public hearing on the maintenance petitions. So we're going to start the hearing. So welcome to the Clear Lake 1 regulated drain number 501, file number 2506, July 21st, 2025. The purpose of this hearing is to increase rates of assessment for maintenance. We will call this hearing to order to begin the proceedings. This hearing is for the purpose of receiving evidence for the number 501 Clear Lake 1 drain matters. Notices have been filed with the board for A, first class mail to landowners, June 17th, 2025. Public newspaper notice appeared in the paper on July 11th, 2025. Each person in attendance is requested to write his or her name, address, and name of any group or firm represented in the sign-up sheet. Pretty good? Everybody signed in? Okay. The surveyor's report reports that there were no petitions of record filed, and this hearing was initiated by the surveyor's office. The procedure for conducting this hearing is as follows. Surveyor's report, B, petitions first, C, objections second, and then D, questions and answers. Let the record show that each board member has been provided with a file containing copies of all documentation relevant to these proceedings, including the proposed schedule of assessments and surveyor's report. The surveyor is requested to make his report on the maintenance, including the A, history, B, recommendations, and C, explanation of watershed. The surveyor will now read this report.
As directed by the Steuben County Drainage Board, the Steuben County Surveyor's Office has prepared a watershed map, assessment map, assessment roll, and a list of affected landowners. The Surveyor's Office has also notified all the landowners in the number 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage basin involved in these proceedings and does hereby submit a formal maintenance report for your review, approval, and adoption. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is located in the Clear Lake Drainage Basin, sections 29, 30, 31, and 32, Clear Lake Township, T38N, R15E, Steuben County, Indiana. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain was installed between 1910 to 1912, and the Clear Lake Drainage Basin was established in 1966. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is currently comprised of 1,236.34 benefited acres with 3.62 mile of tile and 2.76 miles of open ditch and an agricultural and residential drainage network. The last time the rate was increased was a 25% increase in 1999. It is noted by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the current rate of $1.25 per acre with the $6.25 minimum is no longer sufficient to properly maintain the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain with an annual income of $1,896.44. The number 501 Clear Lake maintenance unit is currently $14,408.30 in debt. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the new rate of the 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit be increased to $20 an acre with a $40 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $26,610 to maintain the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain.
Does any board member or any other person have questions to the surveyors about the technical aspects of the surveyor's report?
First of all, the fact that it is currently in arrears of a little over $14,000.
Correct.
How long has it been in arrears?
Um,
Beginning of 24.
The beginning, thank you. I believe we did some work.
So you did work in the beginning of
That's
24.
correct.
Prior to that, it was positive.
Yeah, but we didn't do a lot to that. Here's the report here in 2024. Gonna go the other way. Yes, there we go. Like scroll down, we can see all the way back from 12.
15.
15.
So it's been in arrears since 2018.
And it was out briefly from 18 till 24.
I've got the figures for you if you want them.
We have
Positive and negative.
It's zeroed out again. 19. 23.
2023. Yeah, planned work for. Yeah, planned work for.
23.
Yeah, again, the whole entire, Greg, if you can zoom in, pretty much the whole entire area, especially the open ditch, the trees have overgrown and it's pretty bare. I know Stoys went ahead and did.
Sir,
Excuse me.
sir, we're having a hearing here. You'll get your time to speak.
She asked me a question, I was trying to answer.
I know Stories went in there and did a bunch of work on their own, just to try to help out, some things, but,
Used to be one side of this ditch was cleared off at one time. Landowners used to be good stewards of their land to kind of do some of that themselves. Over the years, it's not went that way. Trees have grown back up. And enable for us to be able to go in there and dip it, and do cheap maintenance on it, but one side of the trees would be taken down again, which is the most expensive. Could be upwards of 100,000 per mile. And you're looking at least 2 miles of open ditch that trees would be cleaned off on one side, and then you got. That's why we're going so. This portion in here has been cleaned. But look at all these trees in through here as well. You got ditch.
That's all tiled down through those woods.
Ditch that forks off here. Suck holes you can see from outer space. This clay tile. Stoys did fix one of them themselves. There was a suck hole right here. But they did complain about it last year. We just didn't have the funding to be able to do anything, so they ended up fixing it themselves. As you can see, it was there last year.
And that's Stowe's property?
It's not Stoy's property, but they do farm
Greg, I don't know if you want to do that at this point, the animated. If we don't do anything to it, and let it go back to natural, we're gonna have some pretty major flooding.
So that's based off the elevation contours, LiDAR data. Basically, if the drain wasn't there performing as it should, it just could end up being.
Had a couple more lakes, yeah.
Good enough.
At what point in time is it considered maintenance? Where does Where does the line go, become reconstruction as opposed to maintenance?
Size, change the route of the tile,
Right.
deviate from there.
Okay.
Looking
Those are our only two factors. for
if
that.
you extend it, but yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Scheid? All right, I will then now ask the surveyor for his opinion on the following questions. Are all lands within the watershed assessed?
Yes,
Are all benefits assessed, not excessive?
correct.
Are the costs, damages, and expenses less than benefits accruing to owners of land benefited?
Yes.
The surveyor will report to the board any person who filed a timely written objection of record, and the board shall consider each one separately and make a decision on the objection. If the person who filed an objection is present today and would like to speak, please do so after your letter is read.
There are 6 timely letters of objection received. The first one was from Francis Salisbury Orton, and it was received on July 10th. Excuse me. Your drain department. We feel that this is very uncalled for and unfair to go from $1.25 to $20. It should have been raised over the years as things went up and not wait 26 years and raise it that high. If you had done that, maybe you wouldn't be in debt. We feel you can come up with a better amount than $20. Your response, Lily?
This is again to Salisbury. Not seeing it here.
Yeah, that's that page you're just
I
looking
don't
at.
have the response letter.
It should
So is it written to Francis?
be Diana.
Okay, sure. I apologize. Dear Francis and Diana, your letter of objection to the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed in the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on July 10th, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled by the Steuben County Drainage Board on July 21st, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Community Center, Angola, Indiana. I agree that the rates for the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit should have been raised over the years, but unfortunately that didn't happen by the previous county surveyors. And now the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is in need of major maintenance in the foreseeable future. Landowners within the number 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage basin have greatly benefited from the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain for decades, only paying the rate of $1.25 per acre with a minimum of $6.25. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit is supported by 107 parcels, and the annual income collected for the maintenance is to be used solely to maintain the drains within the Clear Lake 1 watershed. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is currently $14,408.30 in debt in order to perform future maintenance on the drain, so it can function. It can function properly. The maintenance unit needs to have adequate funds. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the new rate of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit be increased to $20 per acre with a $40 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $26,610 to maintain the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain. Should you have any further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000, extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim Slade, surveyor.
Just need to make sure too that there's an actual ruling on these letters. Last year we forgot to do that. Either you're gonna approve them or disapprove. We'll let you do it.
We want to take them one at a time. All right. Is Ms. Orton here? Is there anything you'd like to,
Yes, there is.
okay,
I would like to know if all the,
please go to the podium, say your name. Sorry.
Just so you know, this is all.
About that, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Francis Orton. Was all the, what you're in debt for done in our section?
Yes.
Okay. And where were the trees at exactly in our section?
Well, again, we'll have to, go back.
Well, yeah, but where, is that above me? Probably is.
Well, it would have been, yeah, depending on where you're located at.
Oh, well, I'm closer to 120.
Okay.
There's maps on the back.
And I don't think there's any big trees in our section.
Did you receive the letter of, because I think there was some, did you receive the letter of admittance that we got your letter?
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess there were some maps that was put in there where you are at. And again, I can't always speak totally. Greg, the last time that, I believe it was 360 that went in there, you remember where they removed the trees for sure?
So that was just cleaning the ditch, removing obstructions.
Okay.
I don't believe any trees were actually cut down. That's what put us into that there. Made it $1,800 a year. That didn't go far. But we did clean this portion here.
Which is where?
So I'm
Try to mark it.
So it'd be just south of 500.
Yeah, 500 north, south 500 north here.
Mm-hmm.
In between 450 and 500.
Here, and we did this little spur here as well.
And how much did that cost?
It should be in,
So that was 360.
Yep, 360.
There were two invoices. One was paid in the end of December. That was for $9,100. And then the one paid in January we're clearing trees and such was $2,200.
And there was another one down here in May of 24.
Yep.
$44,160.
so that right there.
That's to burn and bury the piles.
And it was not the tree removal like this. You guys can see. The tree removal to the north.
Yeah.
But that would take.
You have to remove those trees to get to the,
Give it.
At least the one side we have to.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that Stoyes, they tiled ours, retiled ours when they started there because they broke the tile that was there. And my dad is the one that always drained or had ours cleared out. And the last time they cleared it out, they cleared it so low that it would have to be really careful or it will be too low, it won't run. So I think Clinks did that one. And I realized that there was a different board that was in here, or surveyor, but we think that going from $1.25 to $20 an acre is really too high. Is there any other way we could do it slower, like it should have been done in the first place?
Yeah, that's, I guess, the board. I'm just, I'm asked to make my recommendation and then,
Yeah,
all right, saying that.
you know, after 26 years, somebody should have realized they needed to raise something.
we do have mechanisms but yeah, we're a young board here, relatively speaking, so we can't answer for what was done in the past or what wasn't done in the past. And so, yeah, we are kind of taking on this issue that we're having with not just your area, it's the whole county. We're doing this, having these hearings, trying to get everybody up to date. And it's.
I take it then our section is the only section you're working on right now?
No.
There is approximately 200 different drainage units.
Yeah, how many ran into Clear Lake? How many inlets are there?
There's not that many in Clear Lake. There's only like 4 major drains in Clear Lake or units. But all the rest of the, like Fawn River, Fish Creek, Pigeon, they all have several units. Clear Lake's fairly small compared to all the other watersheds.
There's a total of 608 plus miles of county regulated tiles and drains within the county. And there's different drainage subunits, but when we raise this money, it doesn't go down to Hamilton or anything like that. It stays right in this 1,200 and some acres in your 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage unit. It stays there. And then after there's a surplus, at some point, we don't collect anymore. After there's a surplus of 4 years, then it can't be collected.
So we'll have to pay this much for 4 years?
It'll probably be more than 4 years.
It's
Well,
$200,000.
you know, that's, some of us have quite a bit of land and some of us are retired and it makes it a little rough just to go from $1.25. I mean, that's pretty low. That's unreasonably low, but this is too high for me. I don't think going clear to $20 like that is just right. All right. Let somebody else talk now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, number, oh, did you want to roll on this one first?
All of them at the end, or we'll on that? I say, yeah. All right.
You can listen to each one and then roll on each one individually.
You need to, roll on all of
Or
them.
just do this. Yeah.
Just make sure we don't forget.
Yeah, I think we, let's listen to them all, and then we'll all at the end.
Fine.
Try with that.
Fine.
All right.
Okay, number 2 was sent via email from Linda Mosley, the Clear Lake 1 regulated drain. It was received on July 15th. To whom it may concern, this letter is in regards to the 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain information letter. Have an objection to the amount of tax you would like to tax me. I own only 0.04 of an acre as per my previous tax bills, but unless I'm wrong, I will be taxed the $40 minimum annually, the rate of 1 full acre. I would like clarification on this from the Steuben County Drainage Board and also for them to reconsider this amount for such a small amount of acreage. More realistic prorated amount would be appreciated. Please respond to me after email with your clarification and acknowledgement of my objection. Thank you for your time and your service. Sincerely, Jack and Linda Mosley. They have unit 19 at Clear Lake Garage Condominiums. You need to read the response letter.
Okay, yep. Letter of response is, Dear Jack and Linda, your letter of objection to the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed into the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on July 15, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled on by the Steuben County Drainage Board on July 21st at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Community Center, Angola, Indiana. Your annual contribution of $40 for the tax ID number 76-01-30-130-119.006-001 is 0.15% of the total annual income for the maintenance of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain. I understand that you feel the $40 annually is high for your 0.04 acre, but your parcel is 100% impervious surface, causing all of your storm water to run off into the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain, which is in need of major maintenance in the foreseeable future. The landowners within the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain basin have greatly benefited from the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain for decades, only paying a rate of $1.25 with a $6.25 minimum and the annual income of $1,000 $896.44. The annual income of $1,896.44 is not sufficient to properly maintain the 1,236.34 benefited acres with 3.62 mile of tile and 2.76 miles of open ditch located within the 501 Clear Lake Maintenance Unit. The number 501 Clear Lake Maintenance Unit is supported by 107 parcels, and the annual income collected for maintenance is to be used solely to maintain the drains within the Clear Lake 1 watershed. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is currently $14,408.30 in debt in order to perform future maintenance on this drain so that it can function properly. The maintenance unit needs to have adequate funds. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the new rate for the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit be increased to $20 an acre with a $40 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $26,610 to maintain the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain. Should you have any further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000, extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim Slagle.
Thank you, Jim. Is Mr. and or Mrs. Mosley here?
Hi, my name is Jack Mosley, and lot 19, I believe, is the condo association. As you indicated on the letter, my wife did that. The biggest thing is it's per acre, and we're not an acre. There's probably 15 units per acre. If you broke it down, and at $40 an acre is way too much. So if you break it down, it's just a round number, but it should be, if we was doing it according to that, it should be about $2.65 per lot. But I'm just breaking it down even further. So it's impervious, it was set up that way, it's organized that way, it's based on those numbers. But in our opinion, if you take 1 acre, that's how you're charging the community. We even talked about it, $20. It's a lot, but that's half of what it is. So the $40 minimum is way too much. So $20 is still high, but that's something that's feasible for us to be realistic and keep going back to the number that was spent on the overall cost and the loss. That's for everything spread out through the area. So I guess given that, that's where we're at. Say that. Any questions for me?
Yeah, if you don't mind, and don't take this. So you think that a surface that is 100% impervious should be taxed at or assessed at the same price as what an acre of ground is that can absorb water?
Well, acre, yes, because the whole acre isn't 100% impervious. If the acre was solid, you've got another issue that if that had been the case, you should never put it at the beginning. So it's set up that way. It was condominiums that way. It was drained that way. It was retained that way. Well, that all should take care of it or an account for that many units. So that was already done, pre-studied. Now we're coming after the fact, saying, oh, we messed up with too much impervious. That's kind of where I'm going. Thank you. It was designed that way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, number 3 was received on July 15th from Bonnie Brown. The attention of Commissioners Andy Laughlin, Rick Scheib, and Will Howell. My name is Bonnie Brown, a lifelong resident of Steuben County. I reside at 40 Powhatan Court, Fremont, Indiana. In addition to my residence, I own three parcels of land at 7705 East State Road 120. Yes, all three at the same address. I originally purchased 12 acres that were subdivided into Clear Lake storage and subsequently sold off except for 3 remaining parcels for my own use. My parcels consist of 4.17 acres, 0.22 acres, and 0.04 acres, totaling 4.43 acres. For your 1,500% increase guidelines, I must pay a $40 minimum for 2 of my parcels, bringing my total to $163 for just 4.43 acres, as well, well more than $20 an acre. I understand that rates must be increased, but lack of attention to the budget for 25 years is irresponsible and unacceptable. Increase of $1.25 to $20 an acre is just plain wrong. Your proposed 1,500% increase is unacceptable, as is the $40 minimum for tiny bits of land. You have not provided enough information for us taxpayers to truly understand where the money went and where your windfall will go. How many years did it take to build this $14,408.30 deficit? How will the monies be spent once this debt is satisfied in the next 2 years? What improvements will we see? This 20-year cumulative problem cannot be solved with a single willy-nilly rate increase. It's simply not fair to us taxpayers that trust and vote for you to do a responsible job for us. I propose that the recommended rate increase be reduced by 1/2 inclusive of the minimum charge. This would be much easier for us taxpayers to absorb and accept. Then let the chips fall and reevaluate in a few years. Please also note that the Clear Lake Township Conservancy does an outstanding job monitoring water quality and building wetlands to clean the water flow into Clear Lake 1 from the Peter Smith ditch. This is actually the Cyrus Browse ditch. Thank you for your consideration in this important matter.
Okay, and then letter of response. Dear Bonnie, your letter of objection to the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed in the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on July 15, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled on by the Steuben County Drainage Board on July 21st, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Community Center, Angola, Indiana. Your annual contribution of $163.40 for your 3 parcels is 0.614% of the total annual income for the maintenance of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain. I agree the rates for the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit should have been raised gradually over 25 years, but that didn't happen by the previous Steuben County surveyors. And now the number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain is in need of major maintenance in the foreseeable future. Landowners within the number 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage basin had greatly benefited from the Clear Lake 1 regulated drain for decades, only paying an annual rate of $1.25 an acre with a $6.25 minimum and an annual income of $1,896.44. The annual income of $1,896.44 is not sufficient to properly maintain the 1,236.34 benefited acres. With 3.62 mile of tile and 2.76 miles of open ditch located within the 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit is supported by 107 parcels, and the annual income collected maintenance is to be used solely to maintain the drains within the Clear Lake 1 watershed. The number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain is currently $14,408.30 in debt. In order to perform future maintenance to the drain so that it can function properly, the maintenance unit needs to have adequate funds. A copy of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain ledger is included with this letter, which shows how funds have been spent since 2012. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the new rate of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit be increased to $20 an acre with a $40 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $26,610 to maintain the number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain. Should you have further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000 extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim Swaybaugh.
Thank you. Is Ms. Brown here? Oh. Kindly step up to the podium and you'd like to speak.
Thank you. You have answered some of my questions. But one question I'd like to ask you is, has a letter ever been sent to the landowners asking them to be good stewards to their land and keep the ditches clear? Have you ever communicated that part? It's news to me, but I don't own any lands that are along ditches.
Well, typically, it's the responsibility of the surveyor to, are you referring to cleaning out their own?
Yes,
Ditches
what you
on-
talked about earlier in the meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
typically, we do typically have farmers that tend to do it, that will do it, just for their own benefit, but not required by any means. And
My question is, have you ever sent a letter to them and say, hey, this would help us a lot, can you do this part for us?
Does not Steuben County have control of the inlets? Doesn't Steuben County have control of the inlets?
yes,
That's what the drainage maintenance units are for.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
can't force a landowner like, hey, go
Right.
clean your trees out.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Because
get
they
that,
pay
but
for
have you communicated with them ever, your desire that they do so?
I don't know if we necessarily always want to have them doing it without our knowing.
Right.
That's,
Because
So
If you're
first
coming
you
in-
want the landowners to be good stewards, and now you're saying, oh, only if you ask us first.
what are you referring to? We want the landowners to be good stewards.
But Mr. Surveyor said here, no, we need to know what you're doing.
oh, absolutely. So any landowner that comes and says, we would like this ditch cleaned out, we would like to do it, I have to visually go out there. So no, even if it's their own land, it's still the county right away. They're not allowed to work within that without supervision of that happening, if that's your question.
So if it's in the county right away, it's not truly our land then, correct?
It is your
It's your
land, it's a right of way is imposed on it, or an easement, drainage easement or right of way is imposed by Indiana statute on your land.
So we're not only paying property tax on it, we're paying ditch tax on the same little piece.
That's correct.
Correct.
Huh, interesting. All right, I have another question. So you have stated that it's gonna cost $100,000 a mile to clear trees. How are you gonna pay for this?
Well, again, with an annual income of $1,800, barely even.
You're not even gonna pay for it with an annual income of $24,000.
Need to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Had to be done in phases. Absolutely have to be done in phases.
But raising this much, this is not our fault that you all didn't do your job in the last 25 years. I know it's not you. This position, this is not our fault. And catching up 25 years in 1 year is not acceptable. We are taxpayers here. We are the ones that have to foot the bill. This is not okay.
Keep in mind, any property owner can petition the drainage board and request that they increase the maintenance.
They can do what?
Any property owner over the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years could have petitioned the drainage board and requested a maintenance assessment increase
And why would we do that?
because you wish to have the drain properly maintained, I guess.
And we have had that.
That happens a lot. I mean, in Calhoun County, it's.
And how would we know we could do that?
Also, the way you know that you have to stop at a stop sign, that's the law. And you're entitled-
That's because that information is provided to us.
Well, it's, the Indiana code's available online in a library. I realize it's, even for me, reading the drainage code is no fun. It's difficult sometimes, but I'm just pointing out that, and we do have farmers, a lot of times that petition the drainage board and say, get this maintenance set up so we can maintain the strength, because we're losing acreage to other areas, so.
And it's not just farmers, it actually happens within town. I mean, it's city limits. Somebody's basement starts flooding or
Well, I'm asking you all today to do the right thing for the taxpayers. And it's not going from $1 to $20. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, number 4 was received on July 15th as well from Jessica Swander. Good afternoon. I'm emailing to address the proposed drainage increase. The letter was not clear on measurements, but according to the map that was mailed, it looks like maybe a few feet or less of our property is included in this increase, indicating number 8 on the map. Excuse me. The letter did not address individual addresses and the clear reasoning of the division giving us that increased amount. I'm not sure how a few feet that are within the drainage region of over a 5-acre parcel of land suggests the increase that the board is trained to pass. As the person who gets information together for a council myself, a metric of the increase on each property would be nice to see, and a year-over-year cost versus expense or improvement expected to see in a 5-year plan. My property taxes have increased over $500 per year in the last 3 years at Clear Lake. Has the board gone to Clear Lake Council and asked for assistance? I believe you all know Molly well. The suggestion is in consideration that the drainage map, region map, is within the town limits and is collecting and reserving funds. Has the Conservancy been contacted for assistance? There are opportunities for grants. I'm sure as well, have any of these been looked into? At this point, with no more information that I've received, I'm writing against the increase. I don't believe my few feet of land and the rest of the residents within the map deserves this increase. It's a large increase with no sufficient reasoning behind it. Thank you, Jessica Swander.
Letter of response is, Dear Jessica, your letter of objection to the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed in the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on July 15, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled on by the Steuben County Drainage Board on July 21st, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Community Center, Angola, Indiana. Your annual contribution of $40 for tax ID number 76-01-30-000-009.000-002 is 0.15% of the total annual income for the maintenance of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage basin ridge line runs through your property, so only 1.33 acres of your 5.34 acres are benefited in the 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage basin. The 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is in need of major maintenance in the foreseeable future. Landowners within the number 501 Clear Lake 1 drainage basin have greatly benefited from the number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain for decades, only paying an annual rate of $1.25 per acre with a $6.25 minimum and the annual income of $1,896.44. The annual income of $1,896.44 is not sufficient to properly maintain the 1,236.34 benefited acres with 3.62 mile of tile and 2.76 miles of open ditch located within the Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit is supported by 107 parcels, and the annual income collected for maintenance is to be used solely to maintain the drains within the Clear Lake 1 watershed, which is not a part of the town of Clear Lake. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is currently $14,408.30 in debt. in order to perform maintenance on the drain so that it can function properly. The maintenance unit needs to have adequate funds. A copy of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain ledger is included with this letter, which shows how funds have been spent since 2012. Grants of this nature typically cost money before even being approved, which is the annual income of $1,896.44 is not enough to pay for grant writing, grant management, engineering, watershed studies, matching of funds, etc., that are associated with the cost of these grants. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the new rate of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit be increased to $20 an acre with a $40 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $26,610 to maintain the number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain. Should you have any further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000, extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim.
Thank you. Is Ms. Swander here?
Okay, on to the next one. Also received July 15th from Gerald Parks. That's letter of objection for the 501 drainage ditch tax increase. The increase of $20 per acre is excessive from the current rate. I understand prices of things have gone up, but to be 17,000 in the red and wanting to spend another almost 30K is excessive spending for a drainage ditch for farmland. My property doesn't need the ditch, and charging me $800 a year on top of my already increased taxes is excessive taxation. Just because the property owner asks for something doesn't mean they should get it if it's outside the budget of the ditch fund. I understand the cost of living increase each year or so, but people building or farming in low areas need to understand where they are, and they may need to do some cleaning or repair on their own. Please lower the tax to $5 or lower per acre and just maintain the ditch. $28,000 annual maintenance is not justified from past expenses. And when asked for the maintenance plan, I was told that they did not have one.
Daryl. Your letter of objection to the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed in the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on July 15, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled on by the Steuben County Drainage Board on July 21st, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Community Center, Angola, Indiana. I agree that the rates for the number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit seem excessive, but the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain is in need of major maintenance in the foreseeable future. And the stormwater runoff from your parcel sends water in all directions to the county regulated drains within the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain basin, which you benefit from. A contour map of your parcel is enclosed with this letter. Landowners within the number 501 Clear Lake 1 regulated drain basin have greatly benefited from the Clear Lake 1 regulated drain for decades, only paying the annual rate of $1.25 per acre with a $6.25 minimum and an annual income of $1,896.44. That annual income is not sufficient to properly maintain the 1,236.34 benefited acres with 3.62 miles of tile and 2.76 miles of open ditch located within the 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit. The number 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit is supported by 107 parcels, and the annual income collected for the maintenance is to be used solely to maintain the drains within the Clear Lake 1 watershed. The number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain is currently $14,408.30 in debt. In order to perform future maintenance on the drain so that it can function properly and continue to take stormwater runoff from your property, the maintenance unit needs to have adequate funds. Therefore, I recommend that the Steuben County Drainage Board uphold the proposed assessment as the schedule of assessments. Should you have any further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000 extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim Slaybaugh.
Is, Mr. Hart present?
It's me, guys. And, you know, I know it's nothing to do with you guys, because I started before that, but still, we gotta deal with it. Well, I guess one thing I see is that the farmers are asking for it, but the farmers shouldn't be asking for it, it should be the landowners. You know, and I know, one lady, you know, that was on, her farmers asked for the sinkhole will be fixed now. And it does need fixed, but I have just 40 acres, and then over on, I think it's at Teeters, the other drain to the east.
Yes.
I've got 100 over there, and I'm seeing this is gonna happen over there, I'm assuming too. So, you know, I'm paying 800 on this one. The other one's gonna be $2,000. You know, with the cost, or basically 8 years, this is gonna take to pay off. 4 more years to pay off. I had 13 years total. Oh, for another 4 years to get it to a plus amount so that we won't have to pay dish tax on it again at $20 an acre. So that's $36,400 for both of my pieces. Now, I don't know what the going rate for an excavator is here, but I know down my place in Florida, I've got 140 acres down there. I just bought the excavator and did my own excavating, put in tiles and so forth. It only cost me about $3,000 for a couple of weeks, $3,500 I think for 2 weeks with an excavator down there. So for me to spend, you know, $36,000 for something I can do in a week with an excavator, I mean, it doesn't make it, you know, beneficial to me. And this acreage, you know, if you guys closed off that ditch tomorrow, it wouldn't affect me at all on here. You know, you can say what you want about whether it's gonna drain it or not, but there's nothing that's really gonna affect me. But that's regardless. So I guess one thing is I'd request that if people are asking to get work done, that it be the landowners, not farmers just saying, hey, I want this, because I know I had one farmer that was doing the other property that was asking for, and this is maybe 5-6 years ago, asking you guys to do work on it, and never said anything to me. Well, I went out with equipment and I basically made an open ditch to drain the area where he was on drain. It wasn't that big a deal. I mean, so I guess I would like you to make sure it's the landowners that are asking. It's not just the farmers. And they should be asked, if it's a farmer, he should be asking them that if they want it done. And let them know there's a cost to it, because I think people are getting work done, not knowing that, you know, oh, it's free service. Well, it's not free, nothing's free. Everybody has to pay. Okay, and the start of 2024 is when that started going into road debt for the.
Was it before?
It's 2023.
Yeah, it was the end. It was like 11th of December 2023 is when it started. But anyways, we spent a lot of money since then. I mean, we can tell them no too. I mean, you know, if there's not money in the budget, I know from, you know, what I do, if there's not money in the budget, you either need to plan for it or, you know, you just don't do it. So anyways, I requested like a $5 an acre, and there's no plan for it. You know what? It's gonna take 13 years to pay, you know, for us to be done paying the $20 an acre if no more work's done. Yeah,
$200,000. So I guess a plan, and can we get somebody to do a quote of a company that, hey, over the next 10 years, this is how much of the ditch you'll do, X amount of dollars, and
I don't think anybody would give that number because of, I mean, look at the last 4 years of how much stuff has
Stuff has went
increased. Yeah, that stuff has
Yeah.
increased. I mean,
but there, like I'm saying, there's always, you can tell them no if there is money in the budget. Like we're throwing money into this budget and no end in sight. At the end of the 13 years, do we start over?
or over with,
We clean the ditch again.
yeah, that's an ongoing,
Yeah, so
that's,
so his quote of 26,000 it's an annual maintenance, truly what he said. Out of this plan, it's never gonna end. So the dream of it stopping after you get, 4 years next us is never gonna happen. So I'm trying to say.
well, when you get the initial trees tore down on the one side, then you are able to go back and just clean it out. I think the initial cost of the 200,000 is the clearing of the trees on the one side of the ditch. So we have a lot of or drains out there that are actually cleared out on the one side to get to and regularly maintained. The problem right now is we cannot do our regular maintenance on it because of the trees. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I know the ditch right beside me, that's already been cleaned.
I think that's the one they pointed
Yeah,
out earlier, right?
Pointed out.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't see a plan or an end to it. It's just, throwing money at it.
Well,
And
it's not necessarily, it's doing the work. The ditch is there, so it's like,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, it's just a routine maintenance that we're doing. It's not like anything out of the ordinary. It's just, that's what it is.
yeah, but I guess I see us going from the $1.25 an acre to the $20 an acre and still no end in sight of it's gonna keep getting $20 an acre. Or if anything, going up from there. So it's a huge increase and it never ending.
I guess the only end in sight would be if it ever stopped raining. Other than that,
Once the trees are cleared up too, then they can just spray along those ditches to keep the trees from coming back. And then they dip it. It depends on the soil type, maybe every 10 years, maybe every 2 years, but that's gonna be your initial big cost.
So you're saying after the 13 years, we're gonna be done or?
well, you'd still have your routine maintenance of 50, but you would not have the tree clearing. And that's where the high cost is right now, is clearing of the trees.
So it would remain at $20 an acre.
Well,
We're up for.
that's what the sharing is for, so again, where that number is decided on. But after you have that reserve of 4 years, then that shuts off. So if our maintenance isn't obviously costs less per year after the initial big project is done, then yeah, you're not paying it every year.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do think it is confusing, I think, for a lot of people how it actually works, unfortunately, but we could give a big presentation on how it works, but yeah.
I mean, I understand how it works. It's
Yeah.
just, it seems like a huge amount for a ditch.
It is. Yeah.
And I guess if the property owners would do some of their own work, I mean, I can do a hell of a lot of work for $36,000. That's just my thought on it, so. Thanks.
You might be able to put a bid in on it, save yeah, there you go.
It's possible too.
Yeah,
Right. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next one was received on July 16th. And it is from Dan Oberst. It appears that anyone having an interest in the regulated drains in section 29, 30, 31, and 32 and township 38 north, range 15 east is invited to a hearing if he or she has filed an objection and has filed evidence in support of one or more objections. The objections so noted include future events that may occur concerning regulated drains. The stated requirements preclude calling the reference hearing an open meeting. The letter states that a failure to file evidence or objection constitutes a waiver of rights enjoyed by normal citizens. This new practice hardly follows a traditional practice. This would seem contrary to the federal constitution concerning free speech.
Yep.
This seems especially true for events that may happen in the future. His objections to this hearing and fees. Number one, we do not waive any rights or interests. Number two, the evidence you have presented, specifically that map is incorrect, inaccurate, outdated, and does not have an engineer seal affixed to it, as well as being borderline legible. Number three, improving these drains does not benefit our property at all. Our property is not suffering from the lack of routine maintenance or functioning drains and will not benefit from improvements to the drains. See Indiana Code 36-927-34. The county has a history of undertaking costly drain renovations only to have the EPA block final implementation, resulting in an effective total waste of the funds spent upon a given project. 5, these drains in some spots have not been maintained in 70 years. There is no pressing need to collect funds to fix problems caused by 75 years of neglect, especially in contradiction to the wishes of landowner. Number 6, Daniel Oberst is an 83-year-old disabled veteran, and the proposed fees totaling over $5,000 annually are both onerous and unreasonable. Number 7, as per Indiana Code 36-927-34, Steuben County does not have a duly elected county surveyor, and thus no valid assessment can be conducted as authority to do such a survey rests solely with a duly elected county surveyor.
Letter of response. Daniel, your letter of objection to the number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed in the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on July 16, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled on by the Steuben County Drainage Board on July 21st, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Community Center, Angola, Indiana. The number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain is in need of major maintenance in the foreseeable future. Landowners within the number 501 drainage basin have greatly benefited from the number 501 Clear Lake regulated drain for decades, only paying an annual rate of $1.25 an acre with a $6.25 minimum and annual income of $1,896.44. The annual income is not sufficient to properly maintain the 1,236.34 benefited acres with 3.62 mile of tile and 2.76 mile of open ditch located in the 501 Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit. The Clear Lake 1 maintenance unit is supported by 107 parcels, and the annual income collected to maintain this is used solely to maintain the drains within the Clear Lake 1 watershed. The 501 Clear Lake regulated drain is currently $14,408.30 in debt. In order to perform future maintenance on the drain so that it can function properly, the maintenance unit needs to have adequate funds. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the new rate of the number 501 Clear Lake 1 unit be increased to $20 an acre with a $40 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $26,610 to maintain the Clear Lake regulated drain. Should you have any further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000 extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim Slade.
Thank you. Is Mr. Oberst here today? Okay. Yep.
Well, most of my comments were considered trivial, I think, except the first one. The first criticism is we were waive the right to approach anybody, I think, about this concerning the board. And this kind of irritates me as a veteran. If something is going on wrong, I should be able to say so. And we get around to the suggestion part of it. Some of our main problem here is that the upper part, the part in section 32 is muck and peat and marl. And the point is, if you succeed in draining it, it settles and it's right back where you started from. So I would just suggest that the highest and best use is probably a wetland. And some things you just can't change. The portion of the South Rouse drain east of County Road 850 and to the south is pure organic soil, put it that way. And we could clean it out, it will settle, and the trucks will get bigger, not smaller. So there's really no point in spending the money. I mean, I don't want to recommend it. They gotta give me something, but it does nobody any good.
To spend the money on the project,
What?
That section.
on that section. Okay, gotcha.
I think the county's portion ends where the color changes there. And the dark color is it's Holden Muck is the technical name for it.
Well, on this map, you got the wetlands up, right? So everything yellow is wetlands, is what's designated as wetlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anything else? Sure.
Richard Smith to just kind of step when he doesn't really have a letter of objection or approval. He just wanted to talk, but.
Well, no, in the hearing process.
Pardon?
Yeah, is that right?
Right.
Process.
So, yeah, better take care of the objection
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. Do this one at a time. All right.
Okay, first one was Francis Salisbury Gordon and Diana Salisbury.
Yes.
In terms of letters of objection, approval means that we take their property out of the assessment. The denial means that they are still part of the watershed.
Correct.
It doesn't necessarily mean that the content of their objection doesn't have merit.
Correct.
Yeah, one more time. If we find that the objection, if we deny their letter of objection, that means their parcel stays within the drainage basin.
And their benefited
If
acres
we,
or not.
and their benefited acres are correct. If we approve it, that means we're approving that their property is outside of the benefited acres of the drainage basin. Is that correct?
The acreage is incorrect or something like that.
It doesn't mean the content of the objection doesn't have merit in our decision-making process of whether we raise or don't raise those. It's just a question of whether their acreage is still in a particular basin or
Whether
whether
in
it's
it or
outside.
Watershed or outside.
That's right.
The objections don't really pertain to whether they were in or thought they were in or out of the watershed.
That's what we
Right,
rule
yeah,
on, as
whatever.
to whether
But
they
that's
are.
our ruling on that.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean the content of those letters don't have some merit.
Correct.
Thank you.
No, just let us do this part and then we can go to the
Okay.
next procedure. There's a lot of process in this, and so like, I don't know if you guys understand, or whatever, we're just deciding whether you're in or out of that watershed right now. And then there's other stuff down the road that will be really hard.
So maybe I'll talk to him.
All right, letter number 1.
Letter number 1 of objection,
From Francis Salisbury or
Salisbury, Horton.
Yeah.
I would move to disapprove the letter as it did not provide any evidence as to whether it was outside of that drainage basin.
second. First and second. Any further discussion?
I just want to clarify in that motion that it does not mean that the letter doesn't have merit or substantial facts that we can consider later in this meeting. It just means that that property still remains within the drainage basin.
Yes.
That will hold true through all of these objections.
Yes.
One way or the other.
Yes. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Letter number 2, Jack and Linda Mosley.
And I will go ahead and make the motion to disapprove the letter of objection that no evidence was provided as to them being outside of the basin.
Any further discussion?
And again, just to clarify, it doesn't mean the content of the letter might not have some merit, but in terms of its location in the basin. Yes.
Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Letter number 3, Bonnie Brown. Increase excessive. Huh?
Just a second here, I'm going to read a portion. Yeah, I will make a motion to disapprove the letter as submitted.
Second. Any further discussion?
Would you like me to continue to repeat on my clarification?
Okay. I think you're
Do you understand?
Does everybody understand what the procedure is right now of objecting and that it's has to do with just being in the watershed or out of the watershed?
That was never the question.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, letter number 4, Jessica Swanner.
Make a motion to disapprove the letter of objection. Well, 100% of their property does not lie within watershed or drainage basin of this. Portion of it does, and they're being assessed only on that portion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Daryl Hart.
I'll make a motion to disapprove based on the fact that there was no evidence showing that the property was not within.
All right, we have first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Daniel Oberst.
Regarding Mr. Forward's letter, I would make a motion to disapprove based on there was no evidence presented that it did not lie within the drainage basin.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. You good on that? Back to 14, yes. Are there any persons in favor of the maintenance increase who want to speak? Attorneys at law first, any present? For 15, are there any persons against the maintenance increase who want to speak? Attorneys at law first, if any present. Are you an attorney?
Nope.
All right, is there any attorney? None? Okay, then you can go. Please state your name.
Yep, my name's Joe Moore. I didn't write a letter to get pulled out of it. I know I meant it. 1,500% increase is ridiculous. There should be a law against it, and I'm surprised there's not. Our county income tax, there's a law about how much you can increase that. But yet they increased our county income tax by 103%. I'm retired. Most of these people in here are retired. We're on fixed budgets. We cannot go around and live in our houses. We will be homeless if you guys keep raising rates like this. Now, I've got the sheet here from Jim here, what we spent. And I've got a total of the years. From 18, you spent $2,900. You had $500 surplus. In 19, you spent $283. You had $1,072 left over. 2020, you spent nothing. 21, you spent nothing. 22, you spent nothing. 23, you spent $18,278 over budget. 24, $47,87 over budget. That's where the deficit came from. I can go clear back to 12 and show you all the years we didn't spend anything at. This is way out of bounds. 1,500% divided by 26 years. It's 60% a year. 60% increase per year over 26 years. How is that feasible? How is that right? Huh? This is just totally. I've lived in my property for 40 years. They've been on my property twice. Once they were spraying an illegal product to kill the weeds and the trees. The second time was to install tile out to the lake where they built a freaking concrete wall on my property. Never said word one to me. I am not in favor of, and it's not this board or this surveyor that did it. It was the last one. But things need to be set right. He is right. A lot of this stuff should be wetlands. We have to be concerned about Clear Lake. It's the Clear Lake watershed. You do all this digging and send all this friggin' crap down into the lake. What's that do for the lake? One other question, Clear Lake watershed. Nobody in Clear Lake pays for it. Why? Why does nobody in Clear Lake pay any of this for the watershed? Nobody's got an answer?
town of Clear Lake.
Yeah, the people in town of Clear Lake, why don't they pay?
He's talking about the town of Clear Lake.
Yeah,
Well, they would have their own watershed.
Yeah.
Their own separate watershed.
Yeah, they don't.
oh, then I'm on that, because I'm in the town of Clear Lake. Get me out of it.
Well, there's a map, whoever's in that maintenance unit. Are you in in this maintenance unit or not?
Yes, I am, but I'm in the town of Clear Lake. You just told me town of Clear Lake, they don't have anything to do with it. 100% of my property.
There are other maintenance units on the town of Clear Lake, and they pay for their own maintenance unit.
So why am I paying you to maintain my property if you don't maintain it?
We're trying to maintain it, aren't we? That's what we're here for.
No, you're not trying to maintain it. You haven't tried to maintain it in the last 40 years. Okay, you have not maintained it last rate. I am all 100% in the town of Clear Lake. If you're telling me I'm not in the Clear Lake watershed, that I'm in the town of Clear Lake watershed, I'm not paying the taxes. Does that make sense to you? You want to change your story?
I'm not changing my story. There are other watersheds in the town of Clear Lake, and they pay for those watersheds.
The town of Clear Lake pays for those watersheds?
Each individual watershed pays for its own maintenance.
There's about 200 of them within the county.
Okay, how does our rate compare to all the other watersheds?
Some people are paying 30, 40. Do we have a $50 one? I know we at least have a couple $30 ones.
Or
an acre.
Just if they're like commercial or, yeah, mostly commercial properties will pay a lot higher.
Well, down there at Salem Center, we raised that to $30 an acre. So there's a lot of them that are raised up.
We're in the process right now of increasing because they have not been properly done over the years, which I think everybody can agree on. It should have been done a while ago, so we don't have this large increase. But
And one of a minor question, why weren't these sent out certified?
You don't have to according to drainage code. And that would be even more of an increase on your unit, because then we would have to take that money. You know how much it is to send a certified letter
I
now?
have no idea. But
$8.
I get certified letters from Clear Lake every time they change a law. Every time they're looking for an increase of stuff, you guys don't send us a certified letter for anything.
Maybe that's why their town rates are so high. I don't know.
The statute doesn't require it.
I'm sorry,
The statute doesn't require it.
doesn't it?
Doesn't require it.
Okay, I just thought maybe it would, and I was just questioning that. So that's my questions for you.
thank you. Anybody else like to?
I'd just like to say something. Basically, the property owners here, I mean, we're the ones that are gonna be paying this. And I'd like you to consider what we're saying, what we want to pay for the ditch, not just what the farmers want or other people. You know, just because you want it cleaned out, that, you know, that's how much it's gonna cost, doesn't mean you want it. So, like what one guy said, you know, we haven't had to have it in order for, it's still working. You know, my thing with it is increments of it and not dumping a bunch of money into it. And, you know, that way these people can live with it too. I mean, I want to retire here in the next 13 years. So now I've got to pay another, you know, $3,000 out of, well, Social Security and 401k and all that stuff. I mean, if you were in the boat, you know, I guess think of it as if you're having to pay the being a limited income. So I guess think about that when you're ruling on how much this is going to. That's it. Thanks. My analogy for your rate and increase, you know, if I don't want to do any more maintenance on my vehicle, I can keep driving. It's working today. It's still working. But for how long is it going to work? And when it does quit, the increase is just going to be a little bit. It's going to be a major expense.
this has been going along for a long time. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with what they're proposing for the rates, but the rates need to change. And that's what we're here today to do.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't change. I'm just saying, you know, what everybody can live with. You know, that's a huge expense for some people. You know, I can afford it now, but when I go to retire, I'm not gonna be able to.
So that's it, we're retired.
That's the unfortunate part. Not everybody income level is the same. And it's hard to make that rate match what everybody's.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
We're on this topic.
I had said that you wanted to speak, but you got people jumping in front of you, so you better get there.
No, I thought you'd call me. I just want to comment.
Please say your name.
My name's Julie Reynolds, and do you need my address? 4405 M 775E. I would say, sitting on this, we have come at impasse, and I think that generally what I hear is they don't feel heard. I'm a single person landowner. I don't own a lot of acreage, but I don't make a lot of money. So to me, this feels very obscure. There doesn't seem to be a plan, and I've kind of just generally talked to someone sitting around me and listened. There's no plan. I guess what I would like to hear is we're doing this section in the next year, and then we're going to go to this section, and I would be happy with that. I don't think anybody here that, from what I've heard, is arguing that it should have been done and it should be raised. I don't think that anybody is saying that. So it feels very obscure. We got to have a plan. And also there's no end point. And so I think for me, myself, and this is not what anybody's told me, I would like to hear that in 4 years, this is going to end, and then we will revisit it, because I can tell you right now, there never is an end. And I kind of heard you guys kind of wiggle a little bit on, well, then, you know, there's always more to do, and there is always more to do, and there's never an end to spending. So I guess like any school tax raise, I would like to hear, we're going to do this for 5 years, 10 years, and that's the end, and then we have to re-vote on it. I did have a question. How long have you been a surveyor for here, for this county?
Approximately 3.5 years now, I believe.
And so did you know about the negative amount? How long have you known for the whole time, right?
Sure. So, like I said, again, there is over 608 miles of unregulated tiles and drains within the county. There's over 200 watersheds. So this is the 16th hearing we're having now. Is that correct, Greg? It's the 18th hearing, because we also have to follow what State Board of Accounts says too, as far as once we're 8 years in debt, State Board of Accounts says, hey, you gotta have a hearing on this. There's a lot to comprehend, a lot to take in. We knew that this was gonna be a tough one, clearly. We knew it was. How long have I don't know, within the last 3.5 years. Can I do that? Can I say that? But I guess I've known about it, but again, there's a lot to take in. And again, I advise, I apologize if you don't like my advice. I don't vote, but I advise the board. And, so that's.
I don't think anybody's arguing with the fact that it needs to be improved and raised. But I think the people here feel like they're not being heard. I don't know. Could we take a hand raise of those of you who feel You're not being heard at all.
But I don't,
Well, it depends on what the ruling is.
Well, that's, you don't.
Maybe they hear what we're saying, but we don't know until we get.
and I will say too, that absolutely everyone needs to be heard, but I believe there's 6 letters of objection and maybe 7. There's some landowners here, but there was 107 letters sent out and, not 100 people are here. So I will say that.
I would agree with that.
And I went around and talked to some of those people and they want to write a letter, but they didn't know what to write. And then they never turned one in.
Or they're.
I know 3 of our neighbors did do that.
Sit down and write anything.
Well, that's what I did, but
I personally didn't write a letter because I never thought it'd be heard. So, and maybe I'm wrong in that, but what
We did hear it.
you did, but
Well, there's only one limited thing we could do for those letters.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, I guess I would like the answer of, can we have a plan of this is what we're planning to do for the landowners, or can we be justified in that? That would feel a whole lot better.
Well, again, we've seen the map. We see what needs to be dredged out. The land needs to be cleared. The trees need to be removed. And a lot of times we like to start at the bottom end first, so we don't take the top end and flood out the bottom end before it gets to the lake. So we'll normally obviously start towards the lake and head more upstream down to the south. There's the letters coming.
Even that feels obscure.
Okay.
So like, we're gonna do this section this year and we're gonna do,
Oh, we gotta get out of debt first.
well, that was my other question.
That's a major problem.
Is that gonna be paid off in the next year and then go from there? Or is it at an
So
incremental?
I believe if it brings in,
But stays at, if they actually accept the $20 an acre, it would take 6 months. So spring collections would be out of debt.
Yeah.
And then
So
it would be 26, it's $14,000 in debt right now.
So are you saying it would get paid in that 6 months? Is that the plan?
It should clear that debt in 6 months, as long as everybody's paid, if they pay their spring collections, if their spring taxes. And yeah, as soon as we get those posted, then they'll take care of that debt, as long as we don't spend any more money
right,
out of that unit.
Mhm.
And then I'll start building from there, a surplus.
And so could we get a plan of, we're gonna do so many acres, so much along that? Cyrus, could we have something in front of us in writing from you in a letter that says, this is the plan? Because there never is an end. I know if I had, someone else was paying the bill, I could find all kinds of things in my house that needs to be fixed, but that's falling on me, and so I pay the price just like your car. If that happens, that's on me, but this is different because we're paying that bill. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
Take this gentleman in here.
Samantha's minutes, but
I want to get my 2 cents.
come on up here.
Give him 3. I just want to comment. There's always, certainly death and taxes, always. I understand my good man here tells me it won't be too long till this indebtedness will be paid off. I understand, what was it? What did you tell me, a couple of years, was it?
You say 6 months.
if they stay
Yeah.
with $20 an acre.
That's reasonable. I got no objections to that. We own land in the benefit acres, about 72 acres in section 29 and 15 in section 30. You can see it right there. Over to the left a little bit more. No, right, that's the section line right there. Section 29 is on your right, section 30 is on the left. There's buildings in both sections, which is not complicated for us, as far as that concerned. I say, I got no objections. Let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned up. I understand it's been underfunded for years. And that's not your fault. That's the fault probably by our commissioners. So I got musicians. Like that. There's about $1,800 we'll owe. We can handle that all right. So go ahead and get us out of debt. We can go from there. Any more questions for me?
Just one year.
Well, thank you for your attention. Much appreciated. My wife, said we're celebrating this whole year of 70 years of marriage. Our children are doing that for us, and I understand we're still not done.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, children.
She needs the medal.
She does.
70 years. She's beautiful. I married her. I married a really good girl.
You guys gotta have a little entertainment, don't you?
Would anybody that has not spoken yet like to speak?
I'm 90. I can go home tonight.
No.
Up right there. Just like Rick Butler said to Scarlett O'Hara. Right, I won't give it. Our children make more money
Question? Go ahead.
in
with the question.
1 hour than
I'm
we
curious why the county doesn't do this work themselves. Why do they sub it out?
Well, I have personally rented equipment, gone out and done it myself. Again, I try to balance in between here and there. A lot of times they like to kick me out of the office. So I do occasionally get out there and do it myself because I did actually work for the previous surveyor and I do have some knowledge to do some of that. So I do what I can.
I was just curious. When you gave me the list, I seen all the subcontractors. I always thought you guys did it.
We do some,
Like
but you
to.
gotta remember, we have a lot of crews out doing a lot of work, so.
Usually there's about, right now we got just about 3 of them out there right now, but even to have 3 different, sometimes we got 4 and 5 crews out there. So, I'm going out there and meeting them in the morning and then coming, so-
Another comment.
But no, if I could trade to sit in the seat, I'd do that all day.
Another comment.
All right.
You've got to be careful what you put in chemicals into Cyrus or this dish because the town of Clear Lake's scream.
It's.
Oh, you don't want them in there anyway.
Another test of how polluted your lake is, we used to eat Cisco
Fish.
in the fall. And you have nets. And of course, we always caught perch, bass. Just go out because where's the
Thank you.
seed? They took my nets away from me. The fishing game, they said there ain't any Cisco in Clear Lake anymore.
Please, one more question.
I have another question real quick.
All right.
Do you have anything to do with the ponds they put in? The holding water ponds? Like, okay, down by 120, they put one of those in. And who does that? You don't have anything to do with them?
Well, we need to really stay on task of this, hearing.
Well, this has gonna have to do with that because down on the other side of Fred, which is almost to 120 there, they came and they dumped gravel into the creek. And he said when they dumped the gravel in, instead of smoothing it out so it would filter, he said they left a big pile. So now the creek just kind of goes around it a little bit like that.
But if it's one of our maintenance, units, then, our surveyor can go out and take a look at that. So we can get with him after this hearing and maybe discuss where that's at. All right, thank you.
Please.
Real
I
quick.
just want to make a response to you saying how few of letters came. In my experience, very few people are willing to speak up because they're afraid they will be unheard. And not one person that wrote a letter was asking to be removed from the waterfall. All we were asking for is please just make a reasonable increase.
Okay, well, we're getting to that
But
part.
lack of communication is No, yeah.
Look into that part. Thank you. All right. Are there any additional questions or comments from any person present? Narrow that down. The board now begins decision-making process. Need to answer each question was required. Should the proposed schedule of maintenance assessments be changed in any way? Should the proposed schedule of maintenance assessments be changed in any way?
Yes.
Yes, so that we can discuss it.
Yes, I will say yes as well. Should the surveyor's report be approved as finally presented? Yes. Does any member desire any further evidence in order to make a decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Should the hearing be adjourned and reconvened to a date certain?
Discussion.
So now we have to review the proposed finding of facts.
No,
Oh,
we
no.
can't do the findings of
That's
fact
true.
unless you're gonna agree with that rate.
That
So
rate,
you need
yes.
to discuss what you're gonna do with
Sorry.
that rate.
So we do have
Some other options.
we do have some other options.
So some, if I can, may I?
Yes, please.
So currently, and forgive me if I use rough numbers here, but it makes it easy for discussion. We know that the unit is currently more than $14,000 in arrears. And that needs to be handled because by code, it can be no more than 7 years in arrears based on collections, correct?
Correct.
So at a minimum, we have to do something that will correct that. Second part to that is, as we know, through estimates of the surveyor's office, that there are $200,000 worth of remediation that needs to be done out there, approximately. To one of the points that was brought up, that's 7 or 8 years out just to get the work done at current rates. And if no additional maintenance is needed based on the rates that are proposed, it would be another 4 years after that for that assessment. So what I want to do, retire, not retire.
Well, if it has 4 years with a surplus
suspend.
accumulated, then we just.
So a lot of the points that were mentioned out here, that's not likely to happen anytime soon. And I don't think that the estimate given of 13 years is probably that unreasonable estimate. But to the one overlay that Greg had put up, if we don't do anything to the drainage, and turn it back into wetlands. Wonder how many of them people out there are gonna lose homes and property and value in their ground. Not to mention just there, but upstream and downstream. There will be a lot of impasse. There will be a lot of county roads that should be passable. It even appears that 120 might be underwater. Another point was made. You know, there were a number of years there where there wasn't a lot of work done. But everyone in that drainage basin benefits from their drainage. Even if your property is small or large, you still benefit in some way. Your water has to go somewhere. We make changes to what's recommended. It extends further any recovery or the lack of action prior to us. And to further define that, the only way this board can raise those funds at any point in time, they can do a one-time. So after this hearing, sometime in the future, whatever that looks like, they can have a one-time increase not to exceed 25% of the current rate, correct? Without a hearing. So if it needed to be raised 2% every 5 years, you'd have to have a hearing every 5 years. Couldn't just raise it 2%. You can't do that. That's by code. Thinking aloud here, so it sounds like I'm going through my thought process. You find it a little insulting if people think I don't actually listen, because that's our job. We may not act in the manner that you want us to act, but that doesn't mean we didn't hear you. That just means we disagreed. We took on these jobs to make difficult decisions.
Yes.
That others in the past may not have done. So where's the balance at? And again, we're discussing here, they can disagree with me all they want. As you can, and I respect that. And I've been married not 70 years, but 40. And we have a little disagreement from time to time. Then it's when I find out I'm always wrong. Something needs to be done. At what level does it need to be done? What is reasonable? What's unreasonable?
That's the hardest part, balancing what's reasonable and what's not for the taxpayers involved.
Yeah.
Because everybody's in
That's
that
it.
level.
From $1.25 to $6.25 is a 400% increase.
Well, I mean,
20 to 40 is a 100% increase.
and we've had these where they've had to be done because there was a hot ticket item that needed to be done. We had to get serious work done. This is truly, it's working, correct? But for now is the key, right? And we have trees that are growing in that area. How long, if we wait 20 years, what's that gonna look like and how much is that gonna cost to remove those trees? And what,
We've got.
at what cost does that become to the property owners, down the road? So are we just kicking the can, passing the buck down the road. Because if we don't remove those trees, we cannot get to that ditch. If we can't get to that ditch, then we can't do the work.
And if we don't do the work. At some point, water quits flowing. At some point, water quits flowing. We did half the proposed rate in the first year. It would not quite be out of debt, so if I'm thinking of the
It would take
rate correctly.
Year and a half,
It would
2
take
years.
over a year to get it out of debt. At half the rate that was proposed. It would take it 13 years and then make it more like 20 years. Just give it. It'd be 2 years before you'd ever start working on it.
In 20 years, what's the cost of that tree removal? Does it go from 200,000 to 400,000?
Depends on if you do like 500 feet at a time or something too,
Right.
each year.
We've done that too.
And then you
Yes.
spray whatever's been cleared.
Yes. But that's a surveyor, I guess our decision is what monetary tools are we gonna give them to allow the work to be done?
More than 20 years, I would say they didn't have many tools at all.
So gentlemen, what do we want to do here?
Are you looking for a motion?
We are looking for a motion. We're looking for we agreed that this assessment should be changed in any way. What do we want it to be?
So in the items that we provided to us, it was $10 as opposed to 40. Takes it 1 year to get, takes it a little over a year to get out of debt. We're fairly close at the end of it. Give me $10 instead of 40. 10 instead of 40. Takes you one full cycle.
10 instead of 20.
Yeah, 10 instead of 20.
And a $40.
And, yeah,
$40 minimum or
$20. $20. So it would be half. It'd take you just over a year. Actually, the one we're looking at is a $10.40. The numbers I'm looking at, if it's $10 per acre, $40 minimum.
Yeah.
Then it's $14,503. If it If you go to a $20 minimum.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for these calculations. All these examples, this one's at $15 per $40 minimum.
This is all done with $40 minimum.
Yeah.
Just because of the impervious.
Administrative cost.
Correct.
40. Just did a quick count, about 50% of the properties meet the minimum. So if you go take the minimum from 40 to 20, to get to, it's $1,000. Rough numbers again, but.
You're at 15 an acre, or
At 15, yeah, puts it at $20,000. You take it, you dropped it to 15 and a $20 minimum. They're going to be 18, 19,000. Again, that just extends everything.
and with no big major needs on that drainage, I don't.
Jim, is
feel the
there any
urgency.
emergency?
Right
Well,
now.
again, not an emergency, but we gotta start doing some preventative maintenance, like this illustration shows, like the car illustration, we gotta start on.
But if we were able to say get 100% of it done over 15 years,
If I live that long.
well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, these are not long-term projects. These are long-term
absolutely.
commitments. These are long-term drains. And they're 100 years, they're gonna be there another 100 years.
Hey, we aren't a hearing, sorry.
Sorry.
Reduce the acreage by 5 and reduce the minimum by 10. That's what that, look like about 18, a little over 18,000. Which more gets to out of
Get you out of debt in positive within the first year of collections.
It'd take the full first year instead of 6 months. You wouldn't get out of it just through your spring assessment.
Again, less people pay their spring and fall and
Yep.
spring, then that changes.
Either way, look at the state of the accounts. Let's go in the right direction.
We're not gonna you're not gonna make them happy.
No.
We have to be out of it. We just have to be out of it in 7 years.
I think we just have to be out of 7 years worth of debt. But I don't think it's a good idea to figure it. Because if something ever does happen, you need to have some funds to be able to fix it.
There were years in the past where commissioners who council provided major moves funds, but it depleted those funds.
Yeah.
It's not a sustainable.
You know, and hearing what they're saying, you know, the 10 and the 20,
just kind of short of being enough to make sure that it's gonna get out of debt soon enough. I don't think we need the 20 and the 40. I think somewhere in between there, like the 15 and 30.
Make a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
So that's the $15.
$15 per acre.
Say 20 minimum?
30.
30.
Yes, it is.
Second. I'll second for
Oh, wow.
discussion.
You were just getting ahead of me there.
Yeah,
Seconded.
No, no,
So
I'll do it
we have
for-
discussion.
I know where we want to discuss it, so.
So I agree with 10 and the 20, but I don't think that's sufficient.
I think the idea is that we need to provide enough funds to be able to get work done, and I think. Well, I don't know that everybody agrees with the compromise. It's maybe a little more fair than the previous proposal. Motion. Take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes the bill. Okay, now we'll review the proposed finding of facts.
Steuben County Drainage Board findings of fact. The board makes the following findings of fact for maintenance of the drain. Number one, the public hearing has been and it is being recorded by digital recorder. The maintenance increase was initiated by the surveyor's office, and the surveyor's maps, drawings, and documents for this drain are admitted into evidence and approved by the board. The drain has been classified and previously placed on the priority list of the long-range plan of the board. There are no damages to any landowner. All of the benefit factors of section 112 of the Indiana County Drainage Board Code have been considered by the board. All landowners sent notice of the proposed assessment have lands within the watershed. Notices by mail and by newspaper have been properly and timely made as required by the Indiana County Drainage Board Code for public hearings. All lands included in the watershed are assessed. No lands outside the watershed are assessed. None of the benefits assessed against any landowner is excessive. That no further evidence is required for the board to make a decision. That all persons desiring to speak in person of the council have been permitted a reasonable opportunity to present their evidence orally or in writing. All timely objections have been heard, discussed, replied to by the surveyor, and ruled on by the board. No person has objected to the procedure of the board during the public hearing. The board has jurisdiction of the drain under the Indiana County Drainage Board Code. The drain is in need of periodic maintenance. The drain can be made to perform the function for which it was designed and constructed, and to properly drain all affected land under current conditions by periodically cleaning, spraying, removing obstructions, and making minor repairs to it. The work proposed by the surveyor to be performed on this drain does not provide for any reconstruction as provided in the drainage code. The board is unaware of any pollution in the drain. There has been no evidence to vacate the drain or that the drain has been abandoned by the board. All relevant documentation in the files of the survey and the board regarding the drain are received into evidence by the board. The schedule of assessments as amended is adopted by the board. The secretary of the board shall publish notice of the board's final order as required by the Indiana County Drainage Board Code. A the final order form of the board is approved for this drain.
I will now ask for a motion to approve the finding. Seconds, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Right. Right now, I'll entertain a motion to approve or dismiss the surveyor's request for the number 501 Clear Lake maintenance increase. Sorry. As amended. Sorry. Sorry.
Thank you. I was gonna have an issue there with that one.
At the whole legislation.
That's amended.
All right, first and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. I move for the board to adopt the surveyor's report and schedule of assessments and declare that the schedule of maintenance assessments as approved and ordered as amended. I got that. All right. I now announce the board has approved these findings and the board is instructing the secretary of the board to publish notice of the findings and order. This hearing is now adjourned.
Except that we couldn't hear the motion. What exactly is the motion as amended?
That the rates changed from what
To
the
what?
surveyor's report said. The rates changed to $15 an acre with a $30 minimum.
Thank you. You were very public until that moment, then you whispered.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So you didn't consider anything with condominiums. You're charging.
You were $40, now you're 30, so you're
Yeah, but I'm per acre, you're saying per individual.
$30 minimum.
That's the minimum.
I know, it's per acre.
You know, for minimum property. Good.
That's contradictive of that's very contradictive of your per acre. You're not talking about, you didn't talk about per unit, you talked about per acre.
With a minimum.
Per acre.
No, a minimum assessment, period. So it's $15 an acre per year, $30 minimum assessment. So $30 would be the minimum. It's not a per acre.
Stu? Yes. All right, we'll take a 10-minute break here. Can I get a mute on that way, bud?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are on item number 3. Number 612, Joseph Rose, request an increased rate by 25%.
Because we just did drainage work there across the front street.
Actually, there was an emergency repair, I think back in 2018, and then COVID happened and all that kind of stuff, but, Baby Road was flooding and Acapulco was flooding and all the stuff was floating around and stuff, so, they had, Genzik Engineering redesign, kind of like a reconstruction.
Is this the one that went under Bayview then?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
And I had
I thought County Highway did that.
no, the drainage, well, County Highway paid for part of it, and then we had to design it and stuff, and then, because we did upsize it, because it was just letting in too much water shed to, handle it, so it was just flooding all the properties, commercial properties.
Oh, yeah, they were all floating.
And we didn't actually have.
And I talked to Doug Wilson, who, Wilson Excavating, who did the work on this, and he felt pretty confident. Larry hired him, they went above and beyond. Doesn't feel like it's gonna have to be
I don't think anything ought to be.
a lot done for, you know what I'm saying? So if we just bring it up 25%, we can get out of debt, get in there for your 4-year surplus and stop. So it'll take us more than, it'll take us a while to get out of debt, but
It was initially like $40,000 in debt after that work, emergency
Yeah,
work,
still.
so.
Even with the increase, you're still.
but then again, we don't want to see any work now.
Any work after?
No, I think we can stop it, not in our lifetimes.
That's a small area.
It's not
And
a.
it's done correctly, it's done new, it's installed properly with stone and.
Well, you might clean, you do that with clean out or something like that.
But you're
right?
just talking that under the road. I mean, it's still got half mile, 3/4 mile drain there you gotta work.
So tile, and then the airstrip is right in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Or
it's-
they just buried all the utilities through there. Hopefully they didn't.
I was up there, I checked on them today, they were just sitting a hole up there, so
They miss it.
we hope so.
It's just,
According to my phone.
just like now you gotta call Holy Moly when you want to route around a drain, just to make sure they didn't run gas line through it.
Call pretty big.
We can always have a hearing, this one we don't have to, so.
Didn't want to give it up, did it?
Yeah.
We need boss.
Any motion?
Type up. I'm still looking at the map. Can't figure out where it's at. Where Acapulco is?
Yeah, I know, it's right there at the Four Corners, or just back. But
Actually on the east side of Acapulco, where it comes through.
But yeah, it was nasty when that flooded.
the airstrip's over, the airstrip's not in that, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right here.
By that,
It's right there.
it'd be like right here.
I thought it was over here.
There it is, just right there.
You see this
Yeah.
map?
Okay.
Yep.
See this
Now
now?
I got it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah, it goes on up into that low ground there. And everything goes uphill from there. Make a motion to approve.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, item number 4, the Tamarack and Buell Branch Joint Drain Resolution. Williams County.
We don't need any motions on these. This is your Zoom meeting. I just need signatures.
Just from last week.
Yes,
I signed that even if I wasn't here.
you do not. So it will just be Andy and Rick. And there's 2 copies.
Much rather.
You recall, Steuben County is collecting $68 for the Tamarack drain, and for the Buell, we're collecting $173.
Wouldn't if it wouldn't be that easy.
And not an acre, this is for the whole tree.
Yeah, there's only three properties in those watersheds, the same three properties.
All right, item number 5, petition to vacate consent and waiver Nathan Metz, Federal 10, Bear Creek Basin. We got here.
Got a letter of non-objection. Just a short email from Williams County, which you asked for. You had that in the packet, Michelle, or you?
It's from last week.
Yeah.
Yep, and redid the wording of the petition. Williams County had no objections, so Mr. Schmucker came in and we signed it, so. I guess you guys want to do here?
We have a letter from Williams County.
Yes.
There was an email sent on July 17th. Brian asked me to respond to your inquiry about the vacating of Nathan Metz Federal 10. Williams County has no objections to the drain being vacated. If you need anything more from us, please let Brian or I know.
So they're gonna keep the north-south one, they're gonna close the east-west.
That's my understanding.
No longer be county regulated.
Even though it's regulated now, there hasn't been a maintenance unit set up since the, I think, 82 or the mid-80s.
It was changed, it was taken out of the ridge line in 82. And there's,
But he wants to be able to hook into that regulated.
Again, Williams County doesn't have any objection to doing it.
What is the procedure to hook into the regulated drain?
it won't be regulated if we vacate it.
Regulated.
It'll become its own private drain.
Wherever it's terminated, or is it gonna be terminated on the state line?
Just terminated on our state line. I
So
don't,
there isn't gonna be anything in Indiana that's regulated, okay. Okay. Everything leading up to it that he hooks in will be in Indiana.
it'll be his private drain.
Yep.
I think how it's.
It's terminated on the Ohio side of the road.
I don't think anybody maintains that on the Ohio side of the road. I would think it would have been a joint drain with one of the county, but it's not. Well, I know, it doesn't even exist past that.
Interesting.
Does the agreement that he's signed and is presenting to us now have that he's gonna cap it off at the state line?
He's going to agree to cap off the end of the tile as directed by the Steuben County surveyor. We had them sign a whole new one. They changed it.
To approve petition of reclassifying drain and consent waiver to vacate the Nathan Metz lateral 10 drain and Nathan Metz lateral 10 spur regulated drain as presented.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those not carried. All right.
Okay, should have all the findings of fact, and then I just need the final order signed to vacate.
Oh, for some reason.
I'll put it in the.
Then we got meeting minutes signed as well, right? Yeah.
And one more thing really quick, you guys did get my 60-page email from Kansas Engineering.
Yes.
Okay.
God, I haven't read it yet, but.
I didn't think you might.
So is there a recommendation at the end of that? That I didn't
There is
see?
a recommendation from Earth Source saying, I believe it was 225 some feet, that they would go into some sort of a waterway spillway that would be, the landowner would have to pay for, along with cutting the end of the pipe back that goes into Fish Creek because it extends a little bit too far. So there's a little bit there yet too. And now it just goes to John Ritchie, which is the Army Corps of Engineers. And he wanted to definitely do full mitigation, which would have cost millions of dollars. So at this point now, Earth Source has been hired. They've made their recommendation. John Ritchie will have to accept it, or if he rebuts that plan, he'd have to have a pretty good,
To prove it.
reason why. But I think those plans alone were fairly costly too, that again, we didn't have to pay for it, we didn't take out of the watershed, the landowner along.
He should have been signing.
I'm not used to handing anything.
Vacations, he needs to.
Don never wants to sign anything. I never handed it to him.
One thing here, that's it.
That's that.
Oh, the dart bus thing.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Buses.
Star.
Star Transportation.
Bus.
There are buses.
Okay.
I turned my computer on, but I can't.
Are we adjourned?
Sorry, did.
Yes, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioners, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
That was a long one.
And charge double for this one? Well, actually.